Looking nice with the new microphone. Looking nice, right? Looking nice. Oh, I even look a little feel like I look bigger now. Whoa, it must be the microphone. Anyway, let's kind of get into this. I talked about this a little bit earlier when I was streaming. So I do like this. No, sorry. Let's talk about just the obvious when we look at this, right? Because I always go on about buy points, right? So this was the buy point. I would have gotten out when it came here for like an exchange fee, no trade, and waited to see what happens. What I want to see at the end of the day is still this, and I think it's better to just wait. I think I honestly, if I had to just guess and like, I mean, this is what not really putting money because this is what I'm waiting for, but we just want to see Mara start here. We are overbought. We got pushed down. We just want to see Mara start here. So Bitcoin coming down to that and then working up that trend and then breaking out would be great. I'd love to see that next week. I'm really just looking for Mara to start here. I don't believe Mara is going to start here if Bitcoin doesn't look good. We'll see. But I imagine that is not going to, there we go, be the case. So let's just kind of get that out of the way and let's talk about this. So the dollar built up quite a bit of steam. This is a representation of the week time frame where it starts right here on the new week. We can see how we've been working against it. Our biggest enemy here has been we could say the 2 hour. We haven't hit it, but we were going from the longest time frame, right? So the day's all the way up there. So it's really the 4 hour, and it looks like we haven't started up there yet. Issue here is we push down so much. In my opinion, we still have a good base. I would be concerned about the direction of some of this stuff when we do break over it. I think so the thing with Bitcoin is like it fell, but so this is just my analysis and my way of looking at it. And in a sense, I think that I don't know if it's wrong or not. I don't know if it's right, but this is what I feel comfortable with. Looking at Mara, I think it's a very good representation of Bitcoin, even though it can get out of hand. I think, especially with the averages, where it is a reasonable price. And it kind of goes into the idea that there's arguably more money to make off of Mara through options and just longing that stuff. There's much more volatility than there is in Bitcoin. In my opinion, it just seems pretty flat out. Mara's gone from what, a month ago, we were $11 a month ago, maybe 11, $13. And now we just touched 24 and we ended around 22. Bitcoin wasn't 20,000 a month ago. Maybe it was. I don't think it was. And I know like 3 or 4 weeks ago it was at 36K. So it certainly hasn't gone up 100%. Anyway, I just think there's more. So based on that, really, the idea that anything that's a derivative, especially these mining companies that are so volatile, it just makes more sense to keep Bitcoin in a certain place, have the mining companies look good, stack up, get options, whatever, manipulate the price, keep it there, let it go, and then boom, you can make your money. So based off of that, I would expect us to wait here, at least if we want to look good. Like if we want something similar right to here where we start above, boom, that's great. That's essentially what I like to see. And we see a lot of these where it starts back above. This is way too high here, but we have a reversal. I mean, these are all kind of sets it up to be a little bit sketch, but you see where we start above, boom, 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 right? So pretty nice stuff. So that's just kind of what I want to see. So I want to just kind of get through that. So, and that just to really explain, because there is some nuance. When I look at these things, it's not just look at chart and say, oh, we started on a relative time frame and there's nothing else, right? It is taking into consideration what's going on. So a lot of this I said in the stream. So you watch the stream, you don't have to watch this also. None of this is really new because the only thing that we didn't see in the stream is where we started. We didn't start above. Not surprised that we're pushing down. We haven't started above. So technically this still looks more bullish possibly than bearish. The most bearish thing here would be us to push up back into this, because at the beginning of this new 4 hour, or this new candle anyway, it's a 4 hour candle, but I mean, it started at what, 7:30, 7:45 or something. So you don't get full 4 hours, but until the next 4 hour candle, it's much better to try to find support and then push up instead of pushing up into resistance and then coming back down. So I just kind of want to get that out just to make this clear, because not everything's always straightforward. This is still a concern, I believe, even though we didn't start above. I'm glad it didn't start above because I want to see things fight here a little bit. I don't want obviously I don't want the dollar to win. And a lot of this stuff seems obvious, or not win, but break out of the channel. I'll see how much more of this I can even do, because I'm already kind of tired because I was streaming so much. So let me stick to this. What are some of the key things? So some of my concerns really for bullishness coming down really stem from the dollar and the VIX. We just talked about the dollar. My concern with the VIX is now we have a buy signal on the VIX coming up relatively soon. We'll see where we start. I mean, some of the futures are okay, but we'll see where we start. But starting up here on the day, I mean, starting up here somewhere, we're probably just going to come back down. We don't, I kind of get tired of saying this stuff, but we just don't want to see it overbought, right? We don't want to see it all the way up here. We want to see it somewhere down here. But it made it up here. So this is kind of a concern. So we'll see. I would expect we keep going down tomorrow. I'm not really sure though. Like we'll just have to see that. But if we start here, this is just caution, right? Caution, watch for weakness. If there's anything that has any sort of weakness in it on its chart or fundamental wise, it easily could collapse down. I don't think this is sell at all. I don't think it's really short per se either. A day starting above here, and then maybe I would say if we had our 4 hour start up here, possibly. But really, the worst things for this is if we start the week back up here. We could see more bearishness in the market if we start next week here, but I really think starting back, we have to start up in this area if we want to see anything crazy. It's the same thing when we started back up here on this day or this week, and the same thing when we started back up on this week. Bitcoin dropped I think it was like 10% both weeks at least. So that's just something to watch for. I don't really care where it is now. I don't think that's crazy, but it's that urgent. I'm very tired, but and talking makes me more tired, but yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking for with those. At the end of the day, I'm still all in on calls. If we start, if I see what I want to see, and mainly this, and I see a couple other things that look good, the other indices don't see wonky. The VIX doesn't seem insane, or the dollar isn't like above that 104.3 or whatever on the start of the week. We just get into our position. I'm getting like 6 months out I'm putting like 25,000 in calls 6 months to a year out on Mara, $25. And then just letting it sit. And if we start under a reverse or something, I'll take, a couple $3,000-$4,000 loss, $5,000 loss, $6,000 loss. We'll see what it adds up to. I'm not really too worried about it. But some of this stuff is just too great. Like this is an easy turn 20,000 into like 40, 50,000. And like reasonably taking profits as you move up instead of just leaving the whole thing in. But you're not getting, the main thing is delta, right? Because you're not getting hit by time. So, so I guess we could just look at some other things. A lot of stuff pulled back. I guess the biggest thing I don't like, we can see a buy point here. It comes back here. It's pretty fortunate. BlackRock was definitely a doozy here. Definitely a doozy. I mean, I did say like the other day, if I was to get in, like I would have gone out at 806. I think it did push up like 814. There was some weakness that I saw with this, but I didn't think it was going to come down this far or this much. Technically, we're still on the same week, so this doesn't really matter. Even coming down and hitting here is really nice, as long as it pushes up afterwards. We don't really want to see it sit down here for too long, to really be honest. But which is also, like I say, is the issue about starting so damn high is because you're overbought and now you have this extra selling coming into support. It doesn't mean we're going to get pushed down, but it just means when you come down, it could be sketchier. So that wasn't why I said I was going to sell one, or if I was in this, I'd be out at 806 or whatever. It's just, maybe it was, I don't remember, but it's not really too important. I just want to give a little bit of nuance on that. The biggest one I'm upset about, or not upset, that's emotions, but the biggest one I'm like about would be Amazon. Hopefully we can push back up. I'd like to see next week start up here. If we don't see it with Mara, I'm going to get Amazon calls. And that's pretty much that. I don't think there's anything else I've been looking at specifically. Is fund lower? Is that 8 cents? Jeez, this thing just goes down and down. Wow. I don't think this thing is you just can't trade this no matter what. It's just dropping at too much of like an exponential rate. Or like this is exponential. It's got to be, right? That's exponential if I've ever seen it. But there's no way these averages ever catch up. It's going to take so long for averages like these to catch up and then turn around, where this actually goes under it and then pops through it. Like what we would have wanted to see there was like a break here and a here because we actually have the evening out with a cup and under it. But where this happens now, this has to drop so low. Like there's no way this isn't even traded anymore. This is on the Nasdaq. I don't even know if this can stay on the Nasdaq. Its market cap is actually so small. I don't think this can actually stay. I don't even know how this is still on the Nasdaq right now. It's got volume, but I don't think you can be on the Nasdaq with only a market cap of 14 million. I don't think that's actually possible. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Let me pause and check this real quick. Yeah, I couldn't see all the specifics, but I don't really understand it all. I don't think it even matters. There's other stuff that seems like it disqualifies. They're talking about bid price. I mean, they're talking about listed on the Nasdaq, but if you need a $4, somewhere around $4 to stay listed on the Nasdaq, this thing is going to get delisted pretty soon. I don't know when they double check on this. I'm going to be straight, not like straight up like that, but like to just frankly put it out there and say that, that's probably why this has just been getting dropped. Besides it being some, I don't know, whatever thing or Donald Trump thing or whatever, um, is because like after a certain point, I mean, this thing's just getting delisted. Like, so it's probably just getting pushed down even more and more and more. The second this thing's going to get delisted, I don't know when, it's probably just going to look. Ooh, this was pretty nice for it, but it's pretty sketchy. I don't know why I had these lines here. Anyway, let's kind of check some other stuff. I think that was the main ones I could remember. This is still under, right? Yeah, we just can't start over here on GME above. What do we got? What do we got? No surprise. Not too surprising. Wow, all last week. I was thinking about getting puts on this, but I didn't think it was a good idea. Did it go down? Yeah. Was I sure it was going to go down? Not really, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down. I don't think the merger is going to happen or the buyout or whatever is going to happen. So, but I don't bet on that stuff. That's not my expertise, and I don't want it to be my expertise. Okay. Oh, I was gonna say we had a week time frame here. No. Day. Yeah. Okay, but then we start under. It's a big fake out. That's pretty upsetting. What are we? 4.2, 4. That's like 2% down. That's not that bad. This treated it well, 33, and then it shot 41. That's just unfortunate. I mean, I don't think this is that horrible. This is a little sketch. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the way it interacts with all these. Not really a big fan. Like this, I don't like, and I also don't like this. Like, right, we start above, we push under, we push all the way here, we start here, push all the way. That's not that bad because we did push down. Actually, I don't hate this. I don't hate this. I like this. I actually like this. I think the price action around this supports it. We do see this. We do start under. Most likely, we then push all the way down, and then it just reverses, right? We're just talking about the pressure and the direction we're going to take. Doesn't mean it can't bounce. Overbought makes sense, so we get sold back down. There's probably something else going on here. This is January 22nd. Pretty sure there's a lot of bad stuff, or January 2022. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of bad stuff around then also. Pretty sure. I mean, I'm thinking of Bitcoin and some other stuff, and I know a lot of stuff was trending down there, and I think it was fighting for quite a bit. And then I think that's in April. Because I know with the Do Kwon stuff or whatever was in April, and then FTX stuff was a little bit later. But I think in April there's also a big drop down or sell down the market. But then rates started really going up then, so that's why. Super saddening about Shopify. I think it looked pretty decent. I mean, we're still above. Like, to be honest, the issue with this is that on the week time frame is that we started here and then pushed all the way up. And we didn't push down. The other issue is that it's Shopify, and the other issue is the dollar VIX component. But it is what it is. Tesla doesn't matter. I don't think there's anything. Netflix was here, so there's nothing here on Netflix. I mean, just because we're here doesn't mean this is a buy. I don't know what we're going to do here, right? I just take my position here. Well, actually, not there. It's right here. I didn't realize we had this right here. That's very beautiful right there. November 13th also. That's really nice. We can see it's should be, I think, November 13th. I can't see what day. Yeah, the week of November 13th. Same week that NASDAQ showed a buy signal. So that's good. Um, Too high. I mean, it's too low, but the target's way up. Mm. Ooh, Foot Locker. Beautiful rise back. We're all the way back at the averages, though. It looks pretty good. Somehow managed to do this and then push up. I guess going. There's our NASDAQ buy signal. I mean, this isn't NASDAQ, though, but this is just the market pushing up. But it's still pretty impressive. We'll see if it can break above both. It's a little bit sketchy to me. Personally, I think it's reasonable here to expect that this is our range if we can break up into here from a week time frame or like start a week up here. Personally, I'd still, even though we had this here, this still looked good, still pushed up from like what 43 to 46, almost 47. I still think this is the better place to play it. And especially when we look at stuff from this perspective, you got buy points all over the place on different stuff, so it's whoa, whoa. Well, this is definitely way too late. Look how beautiful this is. Wow. Wow, that's a lot of accumulation right there. Mm. Look good on one of these days. Wow, it looked good. Is that just last week? This week, the 18th? Oh, wow. So the week signal showed you could pick it up, or possibly, maybe it's safe to pick it up here. And the day time frame showed it just today. Interesting. Sorry, on Monday. Just this week on Monday. Interesting. Hmm. I don't know. I don't look at this enough to care. I mean, to be honest, like USD JPY, I don't know what happens, right? If my calls are going to be like around these areas, I don't know if I really care all the way up here. I mean, it looks pretty decent if it ever comes down to 140. I don't know if it'll come down. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't want to get into it too much. Whoops. Um, FedEx got hit hard today. No, reversal. We got our buy point somewhere around here. 240 to 283. Nice 20% push up. It's pretty good, especially just pushing through all this. I mean, it's kind of pretty high up, to be honest. But they had earnings, I think, which was what this was, and the earnings were horrible. I don't think that's that bad, to be honest. I mean, the biggest thing for me, when I say that there's sketchy stuff, be careful of things that have weakness. I can see weakness in FedEx, but you're not going to no one's going to convince me a couple of days ago that that weakness is then going to translate in one day to 12% down. I don't know. That's kind of it's kind of a stretch right there. Hard for me to believe. Let's check Google out real quick. Yeah, overbought. I don't like it. I haven't liked Google for a long time. In regards to, it's just been ugly. Ever since it's gotten to this average up here, it's just been super ugly. I don't like it whatsoever at all. AVAX pushing up. Very nice. Very, very nice. I don't have anything for this, though. While it does look, I'm going to be honest, this looks like something that's going to push up tonight. This reminds me of, where was it? This reminds me, I think, here when I was looking at it. This reminds me of when it was pushing up right here. Like, this looked like so likely to push up. We're like, yeah, it could push down, but just the price action of it, it's one of those things where like you don't know if it's gonna push up, but it's like you've seen it 20 million times and it just looks good. So we got 40 seconds left. I don't want to get into this too much. This looks good. I wouldn't be surprised if ADAX just shoots up. But we'll see. I mean, the number one thing I would say that's good for alts here, and I'll finish it on this. The number one thing that I think is good for alts here, this is based off what I suspect, is that coming down to here and trending up is a break up next week, I believe. I think it's more likely we break up. Mara look good. And that kind of consolidation for a further move up, I think, is a great way to collect sats and alts. So we'll see. I think it all depends on the specific alt to Bitcoin, what it looks like. I'm feeling pretty good though that we're not holding here, and I think we'll come down and then push back up. So take care, have a good night, and I'll probably be on tomorrow morning. So bye, y'all.